When I got home at 1 a.m., the house was dark except for my son, quietly doing laundry. When I got home at 1 a.m., the house was dark except for one light, the laundry room. And there, at the machine, stood my 17-year-old son, folding clothes like it was the middle of the afternoon. He didn't hear me come in. And that, more than anything, is what scared me. My name is Sarah. I work the closing shift at a diner 2 towns over, so late nights are normal for me. What isn't normal is coming home to find my son awake, alone, doing chores no one asked him to do, at an hour no 17-year-old should be conscious for. Ethan and I have always been close, closer than most, maybe, because it's just been the two of us since his dad left when he was 9. He tells me things. Or at least, he used to. He's the kid who used to leave notes on my pillow when I worked late, who still hugs me even in front of his friends. That's who Ethan is. Or who I thought he still was. Looking back, there'd been small things. He'd started doing his own laundry a few weeks earlier, no big deal, I figured, a boy growing up. He'd stopped leaving his phone on the counter overnight like he always had. He'd started closing his bedroom door. Little things. The kind of things you explain away because the alternative is too unsettling to sit with. There was the Tuesday I found a rolled-up work shirt in his hamper, a shirt I didn't recognize, with a logo from a hardware store across town. There was the morning I noticed his sneakers were caked in a kind of dust that didn't match anything in our yard. I'd asked him about it. He'd shrugged and said, "School project." I let it go. I always let it go. But now, standing in the doorway of our tiny laundry nook at 1 in the morning, I couldn't let it go anymore. The dryer hummed. A single bulb buzzed overhead. And my son, my baby-faced son who still asked me to check under his bed for spiders, stood there in silence, folding a stack of navy blue work shirts with a precision that looked practiced, rehearsed, tired. He didn't jump when the floor creaked under my foot. He just kept folding, smoothing each shirt flat, lining up the sleeves, stacking them like he'd done it 100 times before. His eyes were rimmed red. His shoulders were pulled in, like he was trying to take up less space in the world. My chest tightened. I felt that particular kind of fear that only comes from loving someone completely, the fear of finding out you don't know them as well as you thought. "Ethan," I said quietly. "Baby, what are you doing up?" "Just laundry," he said, not looking up. "Couldn't sleep." "At 1 in the morning? Whose shirts are these?" He paused for half a second too long. "Mine. New job. For school stuff." "What job? Since when do you have a job?" I asked. "It's not a big deal, Mom. Just something part-time. I didn't want to bother you with it." He wouldn't meet my eyes. He folded faster. Something in my stomach turned over. 17-year-olds don't fold laundry like they're bracing for an inspection. They don't avoid their mother's eyes over a part-time job. There was a version of this conversation where I believed him and went to bed. I couldn't find my way to that version. My mind went back to 3 weeks ago when I'd asked him about a cash deposit slip I found in the pocket of his jeans before washing them. He'd said it was for a friend. To the night before that, when I heard the front door close at 11 p.m. and assumed I'd dreamed it. To the way he'd started declining dinner some nights, saying he already ate, his voice a little too rehearsed. Pieces. Just pieces. None of them had meant anything on their own. Together, in that laundry room, they meant everything. That's when I noticed the envelope on top of the dryer, thick, sealed, my name written across the front in his handwriting. Ethan saw me look at it and instantly stepped in front of it, like he could block it from existing. Don't worry about that yet," he said. "I was gonna give it to you later." I didn't move. "Ethan, sit down. Right now. I need you to tell me what is going on, and I need you to tell me the truth." He sat on the edge of the folding table, hands twisting together. I picked up one of the shirts, a hardware store logo stitched over the pocket. I checked the tag inside the collar, a name embroidery. Not his name. A stranger's. "Why do you have someone else's work shirts?" His jaw tightened. "They're not someone else's. They're mine. I've been working there since March. March. For months. For months of a job I knew nothing about. I thought of the missed dinners, the closed door, the dust on his shoes, hardware store dust. I realize now, not soccer field dirt. Every strange detail from the last few weeks clicked into a shape I hadn't let myself see. Why didn't you tell me? My voice cracked. 100 terrible scenarios ran through my head in that second. Drugs, a gang, some trouble I couldn't undo. My hands were shaking. Ethan, please. Whatever it is, we'll fix it. Just tell me the truth. He finally looked up, and his eyes were wet. Mom, I heard you on the phone in April, he said. With the hospital billing office. I heard you say you didn't know how you were going to cover the rest of what insurance didn't pay for your surgery. I wasn't trying to lie to you. I didn't want you carrying that alone. So I got the night stocking shift at the hardware store, after school, 3 nights a week. I've been putting almost all of it toward the bill. That envelope, that's $1,400. It's for you. The room went silent except for the dryer, still tumbling. You're 17, I whispered. You should be worrying about homework and your friends, not my hospital bill. Not this. Not at 1 a.m. You worried about me my whole life, he said, voice breaking. I just wanted to worry about you for once. And in that moment I understood, the closed door wasn't distance. The silence wasn't secrecy for its own sake. It was love, dressed up as avoidance, carried alone because he thought that's what protecting me looked like. My son hadn't been pulling away from me. He'd been quietly trying to hold us both up. I sat down next to him and took the envelope out of his hands, set it on the table, and pulled him into a hug the way I used to when he was small enough to fit against my chest. We're a team, I said into his shoulder. You don't carry this by yourself. Not the bills, not the fear, none of it. You come to me. Even if what you have to say is, Mom, I'm scared. Especially then. He cried the way I hadn't seen him cry since he was a little boy, the kind of crying that comes from finally putting something down after carrying it too long. I held him and cried too, right there among the folded shirts and the hum of the dryer, at almost 2 in the morning now, both of us finally saying the things we'd been too careful to say. The next week, we sat down together, really together, and made a plan. He kept a lighter shift, just 1 night a week, because he wanted to, not because he had to carry the whole weight alone. I called the hospital and worked out a payment plan I should have arranged months earlier instead of trying to protect him from the worry. We split what was left, the way a family should. Something shifted after that night. Ethan started leaving his door open again. He started talking to me at dinner about the things on his mind, big or small. And I learned to let him see me struggle sometimes too, not to burden him, but because hiding it from him hadn't protected him at all. It had just taught him to hide things back. I used to think being a good parent meant shielding my son from every hard thing. That night in the laundry room taught me something different, that love isn't about carrying everything alone so the people we love don't have to. It's about learning, together, how to carry it side by side. If your child suddenly goes quiet, if the small things stop adding up, don't wait. Sit down. Ask again. Sometimes the silence isn't distance. Sometimes it's a kid trying, in the only way they know how, to say, I love you, without the words.